that the hump is in the middle, as it were. As Mr. Settles was mentioning, it's the middle incomes that bear most of the tax burden in the city. The top 1% with an average income of about $2 million is paying the same tax rate as people in the bottom 20%. I don't think that makes any sense. I think we need to have an actual progressive tax code where the percentage goes up with how much money you have. I think that top rate should be 10%. I think business taxes should not be lower. Businesses don't just make money out of thin air. It's because there are people, many of them DC residents, who go to their businesses, who spend their money, who work for them, whether it's as a lawyer or cleaning up after them. And I think certainly that if we want to live in a type of city that can bring in business, because businesses, it's a myth that businesses only look at taxes. They look at a whole range of things. That's why all the businesses and corporations are in New York City, not North New Jersey, and UBS moved from Stanford back to New York City. If you have a young, exciting, vibrant city, which we have, business will come, and we shouldn't just be giving away our tax dollars.
I'm G. Aikin, and I moved into this neighborhood the day after President Kennedy was elected because I loved politics. In 1967, I bought a house 5 blocks from here. In the first 8 years I lived there, 10 people were murdered within a block of the house. So I've seen the hard times, and I understand what people throughout the city experience when they have hard times. I've had a child in the public school and special education. I've been a homeowner. I've had problems with DCRA, DMV, Office of Tax and Revenue, and I know a great many of the different kinds of problems that people have. So I want to be able to represent all of you with all the different kinds of problems that people have, and I hope you will make me your second candidate.
Virtually, that I know of, where the citizens of the capital do not have full rights enjoyed by other citizens. This is a political human rights challenge.
Out of poverty, not leave you mired in it. Secondly, affordable housing. We're all talking about this. There's clearly a crisis. We need to be more aggressive in our priorities and how we fund things, particularly things like the local rent supplement program that doesn't get talked about a lot, to make sure we're creating the appropriate amount and really maybe even more than that of affordable housing every single year. And third and finally is justice for returning citizens. It's been mentioned several times on here, whether it's employment and many other things. Returning citizens are primarily concentrated in Ward 7 and Ward 8, so their unemployment, their inability to get housing has a disproportionate impact on the most marginalized, working, and poor communities here in the district, and justice for returning citizens is crucial. Thank you.
Start by first stating that I've been a long-term member of the Statehood Party when I moved in 1976, and that merged with the Green Party in '99. The National Green Party is the only national party that supports statehood in its platform. Now that's a challenge to Democrats here, to change that. In terms of the reaching out to the states, first of all, the 2 Maryland senators are co-sponsors of our statehood bill. Okay, so that answers part of the question. The second is we need to, if I get on the statehood delegation, I will work, of course, with Senator Michael Brown to organize Americans for statehood in every state. There needs to be a bottom-up, self-organized movement. And finally, reciprocal taxation will be got back to.
60,000 people and about 1/3 of the population, including families. And thirdly, settling the dispute between the public schools and the charter schools in a way that is fair to everybody and does not destroy our neighborhood schools. Particularly, I want to talk about tax fairness. $85 million is money that should be in our pockets, should have been in our pockets last year, the year before. 10 years ago, I discovered that I was paying more taxes than I did before. And I realized it was because
Many of them aren't getting paid too much, and I think we should be ashamed of ourselves. I don't think GDP is the way you measure your progress. I don't think GDP or growth rate or any of that is how you measure what kind of city you live in. I want people, when they look at DC, to say, DC is the city where they house everyone. DC is the city where people who work are being lifted out of poverty and can enjoy the fruits of such a great city. DC is the city where children are educated, where there's green jobs and where there's public transportation and bike lanes and all of that with sustainable development. This is what I want DC to be, a human rights city, a city where it doesn't matter whether you're a janitor or a jurist, you know you can live a good life. I think we can do that. We've got $100 million surpluses every year. We're a $12 billion a year city. We can make a change. We can be a beacon that everyone else in the world says that is the city.